Hey Mike, thanks for sending me your swim video for analysis. It was a really good video. The slow motion one that you sent me works out really well because generally what I'm doing when I'm doing the analysis is I'm stopping and pausing the video at various aspects of your stroke. And I didn't need to do that as much because it was in slow motion. The only thing about the slow motion video is I didn't get a good feel of how many strokes you take per length. I usually like to count the strokes per length and add it to the time it takes you, but no big deal. I got a lot of good information. I will also attach some screenshots of you swimming to this analysis. So while you're listening to the voiceover, you could also reference the screenshots, which I think will help. So the first thing I'm looking at is breathing, body balance, rotation. You tend to have rotation, especially when you breathe to one side only. I know during the course of the video you did bilaterally breathe, which guarantees that you're rotating. I just want you to be aware of making sure when you are breathing to the left side only that after you take that breath and you enter with your left hand, you also show some right hip body rotation. As far as balance goes, balance and alignment, you want to be a little bit more aligned. That's also referencing balance. Your legs are a little bit low. You had mentioned if I noticed that you had poor core strength. More than anything, those lower legs in the water are due to lifting your head. So when it does come to breathing, you tend to lift your head a little bit. And I showed you on some screenshots the point of I could see as soon as you're about to breathe, your head's down, and as soon as you're about to breathe, you lift your chin, and then you take your breath. And really, you want to think about when you're about to breathe, you want to think about body rotation to breathe, not just lifting or turning your neck. So definitely, I think that'll be helpful. But as far as breathing goes, I think that's fine. I did get a good shot of your kick when you were under the water, so that has to do with balance, and I want to talk about that when I get to the underwater portion of your video. So breathing, body balance, rotation aren't too bad. There's a few things with your kick I'm going to talk about later. The next thing I'm looking at the three main phases of the stroke. Number one, recovery, what's going on with your arm out of the water, because that affects hand entry and ultimately that affects underwater catch and push. You can see underwater that you're pulling very wide. As soon as you enter, your hand goes wide and it's pulling wide. I'm going to say that maybe you were taught that way because it's very prominent that you're pulling wide and you're not pulling over that black line. So that's one of the main things I'm going to have you do is look down, even wear a snorkel so you can watch your arms pulling underneath your body. Because ultimately, even though I'm going to give you some recovery and hand entry drills, we really want to fix that underwater wide pull, making sure you're pulling directly underneath your body, that you're pulling between your hip and your belly button. That's the area, this small of an area where you want to do your pull. Not wider than your hips, and you don't want to cross the belly button. You want to be right in between your belly button and hips. As far as that kick goes, your legs looked very stiff and it looked like you were kicking from the knee down. So I'm going to suggest a little bit more knee bend, a little bit more quad and hip flexor dominant on your kick. Here we are watching you swim into the camera. Again, the main thing about the whole entire stroke is just basically that really wide, after your hand entry, that really wide pull. I mean, you do recover from the wideness and you do bring your arm in, but see, you're going to see what's going to happen is if you put your hand in parallel to your shoulder and then just start pulling back between your hip and belly button and start pushing back there versus there, you're going to take stress off your shoulder, you're going to engage your lat, and you're going to pull up a heck of a lot more water. Looking at your kick again, those straight legs look very stiff. You have a little bit of a split kick. You don't look like you have hardly any flexibility at all in your ankles. And that could be due to you have a running background and that's just it. But we definitely want to work on some ankle flexibility. And then you can also see that your legs are a little bit low in the water. The low legs I can see because I have an eye for it is whenever you lift your chin or lift your chin up, your legs tend to sink. So we want to work on keeping that chin down and just peering up when you need to and not lifting your chin up when you need to. And when you breathe, you want to work on rotation. So in summary, the focus is going to be a little bit on balance, a little bit with the recovery drills. Your high elbow recovery wasn't too bad. Your actual point of hand entry wasn't too bad. You were entering and extending your hand entry with your body rotation, so that looked pretty good. But I do want to work on some balance to get those legs up, get that chin down, work on that body alignment. Instead of being like this, you want to be like this. And then we're going to hit some underwater pull drills, underwater doggy paddle drill, catch-up drill done correctly, and getting your arms here versus out here in your pull. And you should see, if you can do it, immediate gratification in faster, more effortless swimming. So if you have any questions based on this analysis or the screenshots that I included in this analysis, just reply to this email and we'll make sure that you're on your way to faster and more efficient swimming. Make it a great day.